Hello everyone, welcome to Technique Tuesday with the cherry on top. I am showing you a bunch of bits and pieces today. I have pre-cut all of the pieces for the explosion card that we are going to make today. And I will do my best to make sure that the dimensions are all in the description box for you. Math is not my strong suit, so I went ahead and decided that I would go ahead and kind of cut all of these pieces because some of them, I had to cut a couple times. The theme for Technique Tuesday this month is a grid. I took a little bit of creative liberty with my grid, and I am counting that little explosion box piece in the middle as my grid. All the pattern paper today is coming from these 6x8 paper pads from Honeybee Stamps. This is the Pinstripes and Polka Dots Outdoor and Adventure Awaits paper pack. They are both still available over in a Cherry on Top's shop, and I wanted to use them. I also fussy cut that little piece from the 6x8 paper pad that we're going to use for our card front. I've inked everything up using Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo. I'm going to go ahead and die cut a whole bunch of these adorable mushrooms. These are the lovely Layers mushroom die sets. So we're going to take all this, we're going to put it all together, make a card, but first we need to make a wax seal. So I am using a silicone mat, which is also from Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to go ahead and light my tea light and put my furnace over the top on the silicone mat. I'm going to be using these beautiful Vintage Love wax melts from Honeybee Stamps. I did not intend to use a bunch of products from Honeybee Stamps, but that's just how it worked out when I went to create this layout, or not layout, this card. But I do love Honeybee Stamps products. They are definitely one of my top 5 or 6 manufacturers of paper crafting supplies. I never make just one wax seal. Whenever I'm going to make wax seals, I grab a whole bunch of my stampers and I do about half a jar of, if I'm using the Honeybee Stamps, I do about half a jar of wax, half a jar of the wax beads to make wax seals with different stampers. And in case you were wondering, Honeybee Stamps, those little containers, if you use 4 wax seals, wax beads per wax seal, you will get about 22 to 24 wax seals from 1 jar of wax beads. Just a little trivia for you. So I just happily went ahead and created about a dozen wax seals, and then the extras I kind of just keep off to the side, keep them on my desk, and use them as I find I want them or as they match things. Look how beautiful. So those are the mushroom stampers. We're going to use those today, and we're going to put them on our card. I'm going to show you exactly where we're going to put it on the card, right there. And I also have kind of auditioned and gotten ready with my sentiment for the front of the card because we're going to do that next. Here is another one. Also, I have discovered the amazement that is letting your wax drip onto that silicone mat, and you get these cute tiny little wax drips that they are perfectly round with a flat side, and they're so cute, like so cute, and we're going to use them. I made some while I was making these wax seals, and we're going to use them on our card project today as well. Next, we are going to go ahead and put our sentiment onto our little panel here. So I fussy cut this from one of the pattern papers. in the Adventure Awaits 6x8 paper pad. The stamp I am using for my sentiment today is really old. It is an older stamp set from Wild Whisper, and actually they're no longer in business anymore, so this is just, we're going to call this a stash stamp. But I'm sure there are lots of fun fall stamps that would fit on here as well. I have gone ahead and coated that paper with a powder tool, and then I'm going to go ahead and use some Brutus Monroe embossing ink as well as some embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. This is the bubbly embossing powder. Add my heat tool until the embossing powder is smooth and melted, and you can see that right now it doesn't look very readable, right? It kind of looks like it's blending in. Don't worry, we are about to fix that. I'm going to take an ink blending tool and some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. I'm putting the ink all around the white area of that fussy cut panel, but I'm making the area around the embossing extra dark. And then I'm just coming in with a paper towel, dry paper towel, and we're going to go ahead and kind of buff away all of the ink that's on our heat embossed area. And now that heat embossing is going to just pop and be beautiful. And now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put this all together. So I have 4 panels of dark brown cardstock, and then 4 panels of this gray polka dot pattern paper. I am going to call these panel number 1. That way, when you go down in the description box, you should see panel number 1, and then the dimensions for this. And you want to create 4 of these, because for the explosion box, you're going to cover all 4 sides of your card. And this is going to make an A2 size card. So I just wanted, and everything, I should mention this first, everything has been inked up with Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. So you're going to put 1 on the front and 2 on the inside, centering them. And then for the back of the card, I went ahead and I did the dark brown cardstock, but then I just put a strip across the bottom, and then I can use my stamp that I have with my name on it that says handmade by, and I can put that stamp just across that brown strip across the bottom on the back of the card. The explosion box piece for the inside of this card, this mechanism could not be any easier. It's a 5.5-inch square. You score it half, turn it 80 degrees, score it in half again, and then score it diagonally. Easiest. It's so easy. This was the easiest math I've ever done on a card. Super simple. So I have these squares, and what I'm going to do, I have them cut into squares, but I'm going to cut them into diagonal pieces so I can kind of fill in all the different sections of my grid. See, now you see the technique. My Tuesday technique grid, this explosion mechanism on the inside of my card. Next, I'm going to grab a Jelly Roll pen. This is a number 10 Jelly Roll pen. And I'm going to go around the edge of all of the dark brown cardstock with the white pen, just for a little extra interest. And we're going to use this Jelly Roll white pen on the front of our card and on our mushrooms too. I cut these squares, and then I'm going to go ahead and place them on top of the brown just for a small dark brown mat around the edge. You technically, I guess, would not absolutely positively need to mat the squares on the inside with the dark brown cardstock. I really like the way it looks, and I really like how the white pen work looks. And every so often it's fun to make a card that's like extra special, right? Where all the little details are just mwah, chef's kiss. And that's what this card is for sure. Off camera, I went ahead and die cut all of these mushrooms. So the die set comes with 3 layered mushrooms. I cut 2 sets of them so that I could place them on the inside of the card. I remember when you do this to put your square panel into a diagonal shape, because when you open the card, this is how it's going to look to your recipient. So you want to make sure that everything is pointed the way you want it to be pointed. You know, you're not accidentally putting things on upside down, those types of things. And once I have all 6 of these mushrooms layered up, and again, I just used those 2 paper pads and some scrap pieces of cardstock that match to create the mushrooms. And then I am going to go ahead and just add some white pen details to the mushrooms. So these mushrooms, when you die cut them, they have the embossing details, so you will know exactly where you want to add those white lines and white details. You can just put the Jelly Roll pen right in there and just highlight where those embossed areas are. Now it is time to do the card front. I'm not going to add anything extra. I don't want to add any more dimension to this card because honestly, we have plenty of dimension. I'm going to start with the front. I'm going to put the little panel onto the front of the card. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to add our little explosion mechanism to the inside. But wait, no, I'm not. First, I'm going to add some twine. This is hemp cord from the shop. I use this hemp cord all the time. It's like my favorite cord. It's probably the only like fiber ribbon type element that I have on my desk or to hand in my scrapbook room. I'm just adding one little strip across the back of the card. The reason I'm doing this is because this card is going to be quite chunky, and I don't necessarily want it to be like flopping open, and I did like the idea of having some way to kind of tie it closed. So that's what we're going to do. Now I'm putting this explosion element into the card. You can kind of see it, close it up, and then boom. Awesome. So cute. And if you want it to be displayed open, it is set up so that you can open it and kind of push the explosion part back, and then it will stay open. So you have the ability to display either the outside or the inside. I adhered my wax seal down with some wax seal stickers. These are from Spellbinders. Honeybee Stamps also makes them, and it's just a little double-sided adhesive that you can put on the back of the wax seals. It works beautifully. And these are those little tiny, like, I don't know, wax seal beads that I was talking to you about. I made quite a few of them. I'm going to put 5 of them on this card as embellishments. They're so cute and like really fun and interesting. I really like them. And they were super easy. You just literally just let the hot wax drip onto the silicone mat, and you get these really cute, fun embellishments. And then for a last little finishing touch, I'm taking that Jelly Roll pen and just adding some little pen accents to the front of the card. Remember, all of the embellishments and this area on the front of my card was pre-printed. It was just on a piece of pattern paper from the 6x8 paper pad, but it turned out beautiful for a card front, and I love the addition of those little wax beads as well as the accents with the white pen. Thank you so much for joining me today for Technique Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you again soon. Bye.